What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the sixth album by rapper Paul Wall. Basically, this project is called #Checkseason, and it came out in the late. And this project came out in the late fall of 2013, I'd have to say. So the thing about this particular project is just the fact that Paul Wall kind of went through a break. He kind of had some health problems in 2012, 2011, 2013, as far as that pitch kind of went along with it. But basically, he put out a hit project in 2012. Really enjoyed like his 2012 mixtape, No Sleep Till Houston. It's a pretty classic mixtape, I'd have to say in particular. Basically, he took a little bit of a break from albums between like 2010 and 2013 after Heart of a Champion, which was kind of a more 2010's Heart of a Champion, which was kind of a more underground type fare, just more Tech Nine underground type pitch as far as like the popularity kind of went. He had kind of burmudgeoned out of like the commercial spotlight after albums like Get Money, Stay True, and People's Champ, some of those type ones. But it was just kind of the concept. Not to say that Paul Wall's music got worse, because this is another classic here. I would definitely have to say I was surprised by this particular fanfare. This project, I was not expecting it to give as high as scores that I was going to, but I'm definitely glad that I did. I would have to say you'll definitely see that here soon enough. This is a pretty good pitch. I gave like No Sleep Till Houston like a 10 out of 10. This is like the next project to get to, but apparently there's more Paul Wall that he dropped between 2010 and 2013. I'm going to get to some more of these down the road as far as that pitching goes. But about this particular project, this is a pretty Geraldo type one here. This is a more independent. Paul Wall dropped this particular album on his Paul Wall music label as far as the pitch kind of went. So it's good that he got his own label and was able to continue putting out music. Because some folks that got dropped from their labels or at least pitches like that back in like the late 2000s, early 2010s didn't put out more projects. So it's definitely good that this particular album was able to come out and just be so quality overall. I'd have to say definitely appreciate that concept. So basically the information about this particular album is kind of minimal. For the longest time, this particular album didn't even have like a wiki page on Wikipedia as far as that particular kind of went. It was the last one for the longest time was Heart of a Champion. So it kind of felt like Paul Wall kind of fell out of like the mainstream spotlight, but he definitely continued to have some quality projects here. This is another one of those, like I was saying, it's a good pitch for that. But the information in terms of like the singles on this project is pretty minimal. I looked up on YouTube the two singles. There were a couple music videos. Once again, these songs were kind of underground and like the pitch behind it, but there were at least two songs that had music videos for them, one of which was That Check, and the other of which was Poe Up. So it's a definite excellent concept. Get these. These are some excellent type ones. This Paul Wall, kind of more on that underground grind and stuff, but it's definitely some pretty glitzy flash. Just consider this like a Tech Nine or a Ritz album, something like that. One of those type folks, Ouija Max, some of those type folks in particular, as far as that kind of goes along with it. As far as that particular pitch kind of goes along with it. The same thing happened to Slim Thug later on and Mike Jones, some of those type folks. They continue to put out projects, but it's just a lot more low key. But it's not like it's low key in terms of quality. I just would say it's an excellent type concept to kind of get here. I do appreciate a lot of these. So basically, this album is pretty excellently produced. I definitely had to applaud like the production on here. Almost every beat out of 11 songs in this particular album, I wound up recommending 10. So it's a pretty good pitch. Every single one of these beats is pretty glitzy. Nightlife, just would have to say in particular, it's like some excellent kind of fanfare for just outings and pitches like that. Some excellent kind of strip club music, nightclub music pitches like that. Just good social times, vehicle pull up type music. Just a lot of flash and pizzazz in this overall glitz, glamour, Instagram stories, pitches like that. Just flossing some of those type pitches. It's a pretty glitzy album. I just say it's a real pounding type one that just has a lot of good just has a lot of good glamour and pizzazz about it that this works extremely well, I'd say. So I would definitely say this is a pretty litty album. There should be no reason why folks, if you're looking for some nightlife step out, would not have a good time with this particular project. It has a lot of appeal about it. This would have to say. There was something else I was going to say. I forgot what it was, but I kind of look at, oh yeah. So basically this album's going to get a 10 out of 10, I would have to say. The only real song I didn't recommend in some fashion on this particular album was just Check Out My Feet, which is unfortunately, like, Check Out My Feet has Lil Kiki on there, which is unfortunate because usually their team ups are pretty good, but that's like the only real true poor production on here and just uninteresting song I'd have to say just within that relative pitch. Just kind of one, I don't know, it's just kind of like a it's just kind of like some afternoon type energy that didn't really fit the song that well. I'd have to say this is one of the few poor type ones. I mean, I feel like Paul Wall has the character to be able to do songs in different fashions, but this was just kind of one I just didn't really appreciate the concept of this particular one. One of the few blunders on this particular album, I just would have to say, it's just kind of one that Check Out My Feet just felt like a UGK type tune that just didn't pull out the vibes nearly as well as UGK normally does as far as that pitching goes. Just a lazy kind of summer day and summer afternoon as far as that pitching goes, but it was just not a good example of that. So that's the basic concept of this particular album. So I'll go ahead and talk about the two singles on here, That Check and Poe Up. Then we'll get to the rest of the album. Like I said, this album's going to get a 10 out of 10. So the first single is That Check. This is a real hypnotic kind of syrupy club highlight. I have to say with Hella Drip, I would definitely feel like this is some great night flash to get tore up to. I would definitely have to say this is a pretty fire song. So definitely appreciate this one. All of these songs are pretty interchangeable just within the quality pitch behind a lot of these. Is just some excellent type fare to kind of get here. This is Paul Wall completely inspired in pitches like that. He just had a fire lit under his ass as far as the particular pitch kind of went with just kind of keeping up the hustle grind and pitches like that, getting a lot of these litty type songs just being able to do it, despite the fact that he hadn't charted since like 2007. I'd have to say in particular was still a pretty excellent pitch to kind of get here. So I do definitely appreciate this. This is definitely one of Paul Wall's best albums, I'd have to say, at least from the stuff that I've seen. I'd have to suppose it's a pretty nice one. That check really has a hypnotic type production. Yeah, that check is just pretty hypnotic. I'd have to say in particular, just a real emphatic type one. It's just surprising that this song didn't chart whatsoever. It's just kind of the pitch. I guess he was kind of an afterthought at this particular pitch, but it's not to say that this is an afterthought in terms of quality. I would recommend a lot of these songs. Just some easy kind of turn up for like some Friday, Saturday nights, Thursday nights, pitches like that. I'd say just easy kind of interchangeable type album with all these quality nightlife hits. Pull Up is another nice one here. This is like a fierce kind of nightlife turn up fun of a song, I'd have to say in particular. This one's a little bit rowdier than that check, I'd have to say, with still good taste of like Demon Time and Quick Times, I'd have to say. So it's a pretty excellent type concept, kind of get some of this type of stuff. Really good, flashy, pizzazz type ones. I'd probably recommend the music videos, just checking those out to kind of see the visuals as to what Paul Wall was kind of on back in those particular times. Just what I'd say is some excellent type stuff to kind of get here. Really has the appeal and this overall, really has the overall glamour and pizzazz about it that just works extremely well. So it's some good concepts. Now, some of these I do feel like Sitting Sideways and Girls and the songs off the People's Champ might have more distinction in terms of like single quality and pitches like that. Songs like They Don't Know, some of those type ones, or like Break 'Em Off, some of those type ones off of his first couple albums, like Get Money, Stay True, and People's Champ. I would have to say these are just pretty much, these are glitzy as hell. That's this kind of concept. If you're looking for like Instagram kind of, if you're looking for like Instagram pizzazz pitches like that, just really looking flashy next to your vehicle, really looking snazzy, dressing up real nice pitches like that, smelling good, some of those type pitches. I'd say this is some excellent type concepts kind of get here just within that relative pizzazz of just having like some good weekend appeal, I'd say. So it's some excellent type stuff to kind of get. Just appreciate these concepts. But I'd have to say, like I was saying, this whole album is pretty interchangeable. It's just kind of concept about it. So we'll go ahead and talk about some of these ones on here. Basically, a pretty similar one to like some Instagram Life again. Pretty good similarity to some Instagram Life on here would be My Lack on Vogues. It's a basic kind of night pizzazz of a song I'd have to say in particular. It's like a vanilla kind of club marinating, I would definitely say. And this is like some good social noise, kind of map things out and smoke. I would have to say in particular, pretty good concept for that. It's a basic kind of bop here. Is this kind of the concept that Paul Wall has so many nightclub songs in this particular project that you do get some basic ones, not basic in terms of quality, but just the aspect of just having some basic kind of marinating, just pitches like that, just kind of appreciating the nightlife, just having a drink in your system, some pitches like that, just kind of appreciating the times, figuring out with your homies what you're going to do the next few days, pitches like that, stuff like that, as far as that kind of particularly kind of goes. It's some good stuff, counting money, some of those type pitches, I'd have to say. One of the best beats and songs on this particular album is Getting Throwed, but I just would have to say this whole album's classic, like I was saying, but Getting Throwed is a real nice one. This has a killer kind of social outing pizzazz about it, I had to say in particular. It's like an excellent DJ Mustard beat, I would definitely have to say, and this song has some fun bounce that would definitely feel like typical of DJ Mustard back in 2013, 2014. And Paul Wall's flow in this particular song is pretty fire. He rides his beat extremely well. He just knocks this song out of the park, and so does Kid Ink's. Just an overall nice one to kind of get here just within that relative pizzazz. It's a definite pretty standout type one. This is the song with the most pop. Getting Throwed is the song with the most popularity according to Spotify as far as that particular pitch kind of goes along with this. It's an excellent highlight here. It's more popular than the singles, but I just would have to say it's a good concept to get a lot of these. This whole album, once again, is pretty fiery. Now, another highlighted one on here would be Wake Up, Get Money. Really appreciate this song. It's a real highlighted type one to kind of get just with Paul Wall's lyrics and pitches like that. It's like a pounding, kind of hustling, late pizzazz of a song, I'd have to say. It's like a get money, but stunt good type song, I'd have to say in particular. And this is some definite kind of club glitz. And the lyrics just overall motivated, I'd have to say. So Paul Wall really is against like sleeping in and just kind of being more lazy and pitches like that on this particular type song, telling you to just get out and get some money, don't sleep in, pitches like that, just kind of saying the best part of the day is when that alarm clock rings as far as that particular pitch kind of goes along with this. So some excellent stuff to kind of get there. Real highlight type one. This is Paul Wall, some good characters. This is a club type song, but it also works as like a motivator and like a pretty high grade sense of it. So that's a nice one. FAF is a nice one, stands for fresh as fuck. Pretty good highlighted one to get here. It's like a stock kind of club highlight, I'd have to say, and it's like a cousin. This is definitely like a cousin of some mixtape drill sound, I would have to say in particular. Pretty good concept for that. It's like a great song to be hella tore up to it, I'd say, and this is just a pretty pounding bop. So it's a pretty highlighted one. Definitely if you miss things like Walk a Flock of Flame, Yo Gotti, Rick Ross, some of those type folks from 2010, 2011, Slim Duncan, some of those type folks, 2011, 2012, in some cases, 2010, some of those type pitches. It's kind of a similarity to that. I mean, Paul Wall doesn't full blown embrace like drill rap on this particular album. It's just kind of the concept. It's just a leftover kind of highlight that should give you some similarities to that particular sound, just in a more nightclub type sense and an album type sense as far as that particular pitch can go. So it's a good concept. Kind of get some of that, just more gnarled type energy for just like turn up. I'd have to say, but it's also got that gnarled kind of drill type feel as far as that particular kind of goes. That's a nice one. Another song with character on here is Stop Playing with Drink. Definitely like this one. It's like a swirling kind of venue haze of a song I'd have to say in particular. It's like a woozy gem for getting tore up, I would definitely feel like, but it's kind of a bad hair day lyrics on this song I'd have to say in particular. And this is just a pretty hot song. What I mean by bad hair day lyrics is just kind of having a bad day, just kind of the concept that you didn't get the drink that you wanted, the activist, that type of stuff is kind of expensive in pitches like that. And sometimes folks would try to screw folks over as far as a particular pitch can go. So it's just kind of a concept if you don't get the drink you want, if you're just having a bad day, pitches like that. It's still going out to a nightclub, but just not having the perfect day that you wanted, pitches like that. Not a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 day, just kind of the pitch. And just being able to say this is a good song to listen to as far as that pitch kind of goes along with it. Just some good concepts kind of get here. Now, obviously, Paul Wall has the money to get this particular drink in his system. So it's this good concept kind of has some of this, just having the money, having a bad day, but still not your night is ruined as far as that pitch kind of goes, and still kind of being out and about, just having a bustling kind of time as far as that kind of goes. That's a pretty good highlight one. Another good highlight on here is Counting Franklin's. This is definitely like a gnarled kind of cash flow tune I'd have to say in particular. It's like some great vehicle stunt music I would have to say in particular. And this song has a heavy thump and emphatic swagger about it, I have to say in particular. So it's definitely some pull up type music. This is definitely some pull up type music. I'm actually surprised that Paul Wall didn't have more pull up songs on here in particular. I'd probably have to say that My Lack and Vogues and Guapanese would be some other ones just in particular that kind of have that particular pizzazz. But there's actually more at the club type tunes more so than car cruising pitches like that, just for more night pizzazz that just traverse and get in there some of those type pitches and more stunt and floss type songs. But I would definitely say that Counting Franklin's is a pretty good one for that relative pitch. I'm not sure if I talked about Guapanese just yet, but I'll go ahead and talk about this one. It's like an emphatic, kind of snarling outing flash of a song I'd have to say in particular. It's like some great glitz for IG stories, pitches like that, Instagram stories, as far as that particular kind of goes. And this is also a good tune for a crazy evening, I'd have to say. It's a pretty good concept for that. Definitely a pretty nice one. This is a bustling type one, goes pretty well with getting thawed. Some of those type ones, Poe Up, that check, some of those type ones in particular. It's definitely a pretty emphatic one. I'd also say this goes well with like Counting Franklin's, just some good pizzazz. I mean, all of these are pretty interchangeable, like I said before. This is like some interchangeable type stuff. This pretty emphatic type night. This lasts like the whole weekend, whole month, I would have to say in particular, just for some night. Lasts like the whole month for like some night pizzazz and pitches like that as far as that particular kind of goes. Just some emphasis of just having like some glitzy kind of times and bottle pop in, pitches, twerking, pitches like that as far as that particular kind of goes. Just some rave kind of dance music. And there's not a full blown dance single on here. I'd say most of this is just kind of marinating in the club, pitches like that, getting some drinks in your system, flirting with bartenders, pitches like that. But I would have to say there is, like, I do feel like some of these have some decent dance bounce, but it's just not full blown on display like songs like Sitting Sideways or some of those type ones from like the 2000s days. I feel like Paul Wall is just more club stunt more so than dance type music on this particular project, but it's not to say it's bad stuff. And I kind of feel the same way. I mean, there's strip club music in here where you would hear some of this at strip clubs, but it's not really like full blown bitches twerking on a pole to strip club type music on this particular album. So it's kind of the concept, but it does have, I mean, this is pretty elite type stuff in terms of like the night swag that it particularly has. It's the flash and overall pizzazz. This album's pretty severe, this would have to say. Too Busy Getting Paid in our highlighted type one that says Slim Thug on there. It's pretty good, definite, pretty nice one. It's like some cooling music I would have to say in particular. It's like a great night venue marinating song I would have to say in particular. The song is tamer, but it's steady kind of. The song is tamer, but it has like a steady kind of club hustle bop, I would have to say in particular. So it's a definite concept to kind of get here in particular. Just some nice stuff. It's a hustle song. Paul Wall is definitely on the motivation and grind on this particular album. I mean, he does it where he's having fun, but he still is hustling and getting to the money as well. So there's a lot of good songs about that assortment. Songs like Wake Up, Get Money, Too Busy Getting Paid, Counting Franklin, some of these type ones just really imply the concept of really getting to the money and pitches like that, not sitting around and being lazy pitches like that, or even sleeping in some of those type pitches. Just what that says, a good concept. But the thing I like about these particular hustle songs is Paul Wall is still going out while he does it. It's not just strictly on the grind, just kind of boring, not necessarily boring, but just kind of more driven type songs. It's also the concept of having like a drink in your hands and pitches like that, flirting with some ladies, just getting to the money, vehicle pizzazz pitches like that. So it's just a good concept. I like these assortments of these Paul Wall type songs. Paul Wall is definitely in his prime on this particular album, I'd have to say. So yeah, I'm gonna give this album like a 10 out of 10. The social score definitely gets a 10 out of 10 also, just because of all this pizzazz and this overall night appeal pitches like that. Just has a lot of good glitz and glamour about it. Just some emphasis just for like some good hustle type songs. Like I was saying, there's some hustle songs on here for getting to the money, pitches like that, getting paid, stacking up dollars, and pitches like that. But just the concept of having fun while you do it, getting some drinks in your system, just having an emphatic type time, having an emphatic type time and living it up in the process as far as that particular pitch goes. Just having a great, excellent type vibe and just pitches like that. Just some emphasis that really goes extremely well just within the picture. Just overall, this gnarled type charisma, and just overall nightlife that just exuberantly excels. I'd have to say it's a pretty good pitch for that. So it's an excellent concept. In terms of the future, like Paul Wall dropped an album in December 2023, so he's had a steady stream of projects that he's been putting out, pitches like that. He definitely has a lot more that I'm going to get to. There's definitely some ones. I've got some ones in mind, like the Poet, some of those type ones. I'm definitely going to get to some of these. There's some excellent concepts here. We're definitely going to get to a lot more of these. Yeah, this is a classic album. I'd say I do have to continue to emphasize the fact that despite the fact it may not have like a number one or just top charting single like Sitting Sideways or They Don't Know or Girls, some of those type ones from like his 2000s days, I feel like the commercial pizzazz on here is underground within it. I mean, the casual pizzazz of this album is pretty high. It's just kind of the concept. It just doesn't have like the ringer hits that you probably would be looking for. But I look after the concept, still an excellent album, definite classic and an underappreciated classic on top of that, I'd have to say. So I do recommend this particular product. And I would have to say it's just kind of a relic at this particular stage, but it's definitely one to look up just because it's kind of underappreciated.